Peace be upon you, friends. With you is your friend Darum. I ask you to support the channel by subscribing, liking, and posting motivating comments and an enjoyable viewing experience for you. The man replied calmly, "Because I am a magician." Salem and his older brother were shocked and said, "A magician?" He said, "Yes, a magician, and I will save you from Jassar and his master with a sum of money, and if you do not want that, I will leave." The man was about to leave, so Salem's brother grabbed him by the hand and said, "Calm down, Sheikh." Salem shouted at his brother and said, "What Sheikh is this? This is an infidel magician." The magician said, "Watch your tongue." Salem shouted and said, "We will not deal with a magician even if all the village girls disappear." The man said, "As you wish." The magician left Salem's house. His older brother said, "What did you do, Salem?" Salem said, "Let him go to hell. We will not disbelieve in order to be saved, for God is the protector." Salem's brother went out after the man, begging him and asking him to stay and trying to justify what he said to his brother, but the man refused and left. Maghrib came and the people brought what the man asked of them, but they did not find it. So Salem said to the people gathered at his door, "Let us arrive at Maghrib, and then let us talk about the matter in the mosque." After the prayer, Salem took the pulpit and explained the situation to the villagers. People's reactions varied between supporters and opponents. A man shouted from among the angry crowd and said, "You don't care because your daughter is still in your arms." Salem said, "By God, if I were able, I would offer it as ransom for your daughters." Some of the people said in one voice, "Amen." People then left the mosque, some of them complaining about Salem's position and his unique opinion. Salem and his brother stayed in the mosque thinking about a solution to this problem, and did not leave until the time for the evening prayer approached. Shortly before the call to prayer, one of the villagers entered them, shouting happily, "My daughter is back, Salem! She is back!" The scene was repeated with another person, then another, until all the villagers gathered in the mosque, cheering and saying Allahu Akbar with joy. Salem was very happy, and between the people's cheering and Allahu Akbar, Salem's brother called for the evening prayer, and the people prayed in a group, and some of them cried during the prayer out of extreme joy. After the prayer ended, the people dispersed, and Salem and his brother went home. Salem was married, but his older brother was single. They lived in the same house with their mother, Salem's wife, and his 4 children. Salem and his brother entered and heard their mother and Salem's wife crying. So Salem asked them, "What's wrong with you?" His wife replied while crying intensely, "Your daughter has disappeared, Salem." Salem fell to the ground from the severity of the shock and horror of the situation. His brother picked him up and took him to the bed, and Salem was screaming, "I am the reason for her disappearance." Salem's brother quickly went to his brother's wife and said to her, "I'm going out to look for help. Stay with him." Salem's brother went to the capital at night and searched for that man, whom Salem had expelled from his home, until he found him and told him the story that happened after his departure. The man said, smiling sarcastically, "Jassar took your brother's daughter and returned the rest because her father prayed for her, and perhaps it was an hour of response. Let him bear what befalls him." Salem's brother got down on his knees and begged the man to help him, but he refused and said, "Your brother insulted me, and I will not help him even if he falls prostrate at my feet." Salem's brother said, "Ask for what you want, but return my niece to him." The man was silent for a while, then said, "I will, but only on one condition." Salem's brother said, "Ask for whatever you want." The man said, "You will be my servant until one of us dies." Salem's brother agreed without hesitation and said, "Return my niece to her family, and I will be your servant forever." The man smiled and said, "The girl came back before you finished speaking." Salem's brother thanked the man and asked him to bid farewell to his family for the last time before spending the rest of his life as his servant. The man agreed and gave him only 1 day. Salem's brother returned quickly to his family and found his niece in her father's arms. He was happy about that and rejoiced. He bid them farewell and told them that he had found a job in the capital and would be gone for a period of time. Salem hugged his brother, and his brother began to cry bitterly because he knew that this was the last time he would see Salem's face. His hug for him is strong, and his hug for his mother is stronger. Salem asked his brother when he saw him in this state and said, "What is wrong with you?" Salem's brother said, "Nothing, but I will miss you." Salem said to him, "How can you say nothing when you bid us farewell forcefully, as if you will never see us again?" "Don't go to this job if you can't bear to part with us," Salem's brother said, wiping his tears. "Don't worry, my brother. I'm not used to being apart from you for more than a week before." Salem's brother carried his luggage and walked towards the door on his way towards the capital. Salem followed him and grabbed his shoulders with tears in his eyes and said, "Don't be gone too long, Ammar. The mosque needs you." The story of the devil, Jassar, as told by the strange man, Jassar, is the youngest son of the rebellious Quran, Mazza. He is one of the biggest rebellious devils, and many magicians who tried to prepare him fell victim to him. Mazza got out of his owner's control when he tried to prepare him for his vision, and as soon as he was freed, Mazza killed his owner and all his family. Since then, he has been controlling people, and no one has been able to stop him. Mazza joined the Dunes tribe and was able to assume leadership of the clan after a short time by marrying the daughter of the tribe's leader. He had 7 children, the eldest of whom was the eldest and dearest to his heart. He was Jassar because he resembled his mother, who raised the status of Mazza among the devils, and in turn, he also raised Jassar. His father's name was high among the Daemon lords due to his strength and courage that he showed in the tribe's wars with other tribes. Jassar remained the apple of his father's eye until that day when Jassar fell in love with a human girl. This was forbidden in the community of devils, but it was permitted for the masters and with. These were the masters, among whom Jassar and his family were considered to be exalted and avoided loving humans more than others, because they saw this as a desecration of their race and a decline in their tribal level. Mazza prevented his son, Jazzar, from visiting her, but Jazzar disobeyed his father's order and returned to visit that girl. But his matter was revealed, and he was tried to be exiled for life, and his immunity against young and novice magicians was taken away from him so that they could control him and make him a servant for their purposes. It is said that he became mad after his exile. Jassar remained a servile servant who moved from one magician to another to fulfill their needs, and he was unable to do anything to prevent them because of the binding that one of the elder demons had placed on him. One day, a young man, no more than 20 years old, who was just beginning to learn magic, came to Jassar with the aim of searching for get rich by magic. When Jassar appeared to him, the little magician said to him, "I want you to bring me a lot of money." Jassar said, "You do not understand my purpose." The little magician said, "What is your purpose?" Jassar said, "I control the body, remove the mind, and calm the dream only." The magician was silent for a while, then said, "Why don't you choose what you want to do?" Jassar told the magician his story. The magician said to him, "How can you be freed?" Jassar said that the devil who bound me has died. The magician said, "How is that?" Jassar said, "By bringing him in chains and bringing with him another devil and ordering him to kill him." The magician said, "What benefit do I have from that?" Jassar replied to him and said, "The money of the world, and more, will be at your disposal." Just set me free and I will achieve everything you want." So the magician searched for a book to prepare for the devil that bound Yasser, and for a book to prepare for someone to kill him. But he did not find it. So he said to Jassar, "I did not find what you wanted, so I will not be able to." Jassar replied to him and said, "You will find them with a magician named Najd. He lives in Aden. Go to him and ask for his help." The magician searched for Najd but did not find him. During his search and questioning about him, he heard the story of his death and the liberation of his companion. So he searched for his companion's book and found it. He returned it to Jassar and told him what had happened. Jassar said to him, "Come to him and ask him about the location of the books." The magician said, "Why don't you do it yourself? For you are an upper devil." Jassar responded angrily, "Because I am tied up and do not have the strength to do that." The magician was afraid and prepared, Dajan. And when Dajan arrived, they intended to kill the magician, but Jassar shouted at him, prevented him, and said to him, "Stop, Kurain, Najd. Free me, and you can do whatever you want." Dajan said, "What benefit will I gain when I help you, Marbut?" Jassar said to him, "You know what I can do for you." Dajan was absent for a short period. Then he returned and threw the book of preparing the devil that had tied Jassar in the face of the young magician and said to him, "Let us finish. Bring him quickly. And the first thing you bring him, tie him up. Do not involve us, because you seem to be busy in the work." The magician did what Dain ordered him to do, and the devil who had tied Jassar came out screaming loudly, and what he had feared, Dain, happened. The little magician did not catch up on reading the talisman of binding the devil that had bound Jassar, and in the blink of an eye, the devil divided the magician into two halvas, surprising him, Dain, who was behind him, and killed him before he noticed his presence. So Jassar broke free from his chains and began screaming in excitement at being freed. Then he said to him, "Damn! Come on, sir. Where is your promise?" Jassar said, "If you do not stay away from me, I will tear you apart, you vile companion." Dajan said, "Oh, I didn't come out as you said." Before Jassar could respond, Dajan attacked Jassar, but Jassar was much stronger than him, so he knocked him to the ground in a flash and grabbed his neck, but he did not. He killed him and said to him, "I will pardon you only because you helped me, so as soon as I leave you, leave and never return. Otherwise you will not see the light, O consort." Jassar came out of the magician's house and killed every magician who used him in the past to fulfill his need. He killed them all in one day so that they would not warn each other, to the point that the other magicians, they were terrified that the same fate would befall them, even if they had never dealt with Jassar before. Jassar then disappeared, and no one heard from him until a skilled magician from Hijaz was able to prepare him and use him to kidnap women. Jassar continued to serve that magician until the magician died, but Jassar did not stop kidnapping and became known in this capacity, and only those with knowledge could prepare him. There is a great degree of sorcery, and it seems that the sorcerer whom you attacked was of high ability, and he cast Jassar on you, Amar, and climbing into the abyss. Amar arrived at the house of the strange man who asked him to work for him for the rest of his life, and who later turned out to be a great magician and famous among magicians. Upon his arrival, Amar began serving him and organizing his appointments with his visitors from all countries. Amar spent many years with the magician, which made him gradually lose his faith and become involved in the evil world of magic and sorcery. During that period, the magician taught Amar some of the secrets of the profession until Amar became one of the famous magicians in the capital.